This is Fraser Coast Stories with George Seymour, and today I'm joined with Jayden Christie, the president of the Hervey Bay Chamber of Commerce. How are you, Jayden?
I'm very well, George. How are you?
Yeah, really good.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show. You've been the president now for a short period.
Yeah, so this is my sort of first year in that role. So before that, I was actually the treasurer of the committee, but then I've stepped up as president in the last 12 months.
Yeah. And outside of this very public role of president, your business is obviously Aquaview, a very public, very central business that's very iconic. It's on a lot of our postcards. How did you come to that?
So Aquaview has always sort of been in our family as well. So my wife's family in particular.
Yeah, Larry was a remarkable guy. Larry Birch, a very remarkable Hervey Bay citizen.
Yeah.
Very led the way in so many ways.
He was sort of, well, one would argue like a sort of ambassador for tourism in this area, and did a lot for Fraser Coast in general. So there were big shoes to fill, and unfortunately when he passed away, there was no one sort of to take on that business. So myself and my wife stepped into those shoes, and we've had it for nearly 4 years now. So.
Yeah, and it seems to be going from strength to strength. It is a great place to hang out. It's got new activities.
So we added the salty axe onto that, and it's just a great place to relax by the beach, enjoy some food and drink, and it's a wonderful spot for locals and tourists to hang out.
And how did you come to business advocacy, to standing up for the business community and be involved in the chamber?
So being involved in business, I've always been someone that's been active. I don't see a role just being a role. I'm always in amongst the community. Play a lot of sport in the community as well. So I guess for myself, I've always had that intuitive for business to thrive in this area, because after all, we live in this region, so we all want it to grow together. So business has always been a big background in both of our families. So it was really something that we saw a good opportunity to grow both ourselves, but also as a region.
And you're an accountant by background, So that would have exposed you to lots of different businesses.
Yeah, so I was, before owning my own business, I was in public practice and corporate accounting for 10 years. So obviously dealing with a lot of businesses in that time, and seeing the sort of impacts across many sectors, and how the economy affects business, and how their decisions affect business and the Fraser Coast as a whole.
And Chamber of Commerces, they, I guess Chambers of Commerce, it's probably the plural. They're very important. You see them in every community. They go back, generations. What role do you see the Hervey Bay Chamber of Commerce playing in our community?
So the Hervey Bay Chamber of Commerce, as what we see it, is basically the front of all businesses. We should be the voice for businesses in this area. We have a direct link to bodies like the council, Business Chamber Queensland, our state parliamentary. So I guess our role is to be that connector between businesses and authorities.
And connections between. You also do a great job in connecting businesses.
Yeah, that's right. Events, So we put on events for businesses to come together, to network, because as we feel and know, businesses grow stronger with a strong supporting network around them.
And how does the issues that you want to advocate on, how does that get decided upon?
So at the start of each year, we plan out sort of a 12 months of events around what's happening in the economy, what are topics that are front of mind, really like particular things around like AI and those sort of things that are business enhancing factors. So they sort of decide what our topics are going to be month by month. Obviously then there's other like budgetary times of the year, state, local council updates, which we find important for businesses to know front of mind. So it's a great way to get the information firsthand straight back to businesses.
And the role of president, that's a very public-facing role. I think back over the years, I've seen a lot from Sandra Holbrook most recently, Bernard Weeble, Tim Powers, David Rees, Steve Dixon, Andrew McNamara. They've all played a very leading role in the community. What do you see your role going forward, and how you'll advocate for members and the businesses?
Yeah, so my role in terms of advocating business is to grow our membership basis, to grow. Over the years, we've had businesses come onto the Fraser Coast that particularly may not know a lot about the chamber. So our role as the chamber and myself as president is to grow that connection, to get more people involved in the chamber, and then ultimately to grow our connections with our bodies, and then like with council and I guess state, and really be an advocate for businesses. So I really feel that businesses can come to the chamber with any issues, concerns, and then we can pass that information on. So we're basically that voice, as I said.
And how would businesses or people join the chamber?
So businesses can join. So it's a 12-month membership. So we have 3 tiers of membership. So it's an individual, corporate, and VIP. All have different member benefits, and essentially they can get in touch with the chamber through websites, on our social platforms. They can come along to a breakfast, Chamber of Dusk. We have lunch and learns, a variety of different social events that suit anyone.
Yeah. And speaking of the business community, you obviously talk to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
How is the business community feeling now? Is it confident? Are they concerned?
I think across different sectors, people are feeling different. I know there's a lot of probably uncertainty with obviously what's happening overseas. There's rising costs everywhere. And so I feel people are more just uncertain. They're more cautious about where they spend money, because we don't know what the spending power of people are going to be. There's less, I guess, money to be spent in the area when interest rates are going up, mortgages are going up.
And people are concerned about their jobs with AI.
There's less disposable income for sure. So I guess it would be just an uncertainty.
Yeah. And in terms of starting a business now, is it easier or harder to start a business now than it was, say, 10 years ago?
I think it's easier in terms of there's more resources available. So there's so many people out there that can help with setting up businesses now, to really take your mind off that and really focus on being the business owner. So in terms of that, the setting up of a business is easier. I think there's a lot more knowledge around what it takes for business owners to, in certain industries, there's more results, I guess, tracking for people to know, okay, well, this area is going well. And I think that's like credit to the council and stuff as well for putting out statistics and what's ultimately working well.
And our economic roadmap 2036, that has 2 primary goals: to raise the GRP by 2 billion and to make some effect on the demographics to attract younger people here. Do you think that's the right approach?
Yeah, I think definitely a focus for this area has got to be not only encouraging younger people and younger families to reside on the Fraser Coast, but also the ones that are in school here currently, to keep them here. I guess there's a real push on the universities and TAFEs to really have a more wider range of offerings, so that we encourage those students to stay here and grow up on the Fraser Coast, because the Fraser Coast has got a lot of key assets. We've got so many parks, we've got so many leisure areas, there's so many growing sports in this area, and there's some wonderful assets. So I think it's really key that those TAFE and universities now sort of see this area as a growing area and factor those.
And it is a growth area. Do you think our economy is growing with the population, that we're attracting the right type of jobs and industries?
I think we're definitely growing rapidly. I mean, we're the number 1 in Queensland for the most rapid growth. I think we've got the right assets here for that growth, but we definitely need the job opportunities.
And a lot of the job opportunities are in the service industry, servicing the population. How do you think we break beyond that to get past services? Yeah,
so I think, as I said, like attracting that younger crowd will bring more services here. We still have quite a high median age, so that
very high, 51.
So that ultimately puts strain on medical and those other areas.
But it makes it the biggest employer, health and community services.
Yeah. So I think as long as we're growing in those areas as well to facilitate those jobs, there's a lot of people moving here for medical and construction. So, as more and more housing estates pop up, there's that need for extra construction workers. So we're creating the need as we're growing. It's just whether we're growing too fast.
Yeah. And do you think with that growth, there are any unrealized competitive advantages that we have here that we could lean into better?
I think in terms of probably we would find if there was more offerings for study purposes, I really think that would grow the opportunities in this area. While we've got, as you said, the biggest growth, and we've got the health aspect in this area, I think those industries are always going to be our key employers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So while we've got a beautiful esplanade and those other key assets, I think that will gravitate people to this area as well. But I think we've just got to be ensuring that we're looking at those key areas and making sure they're not falling behind, because otherwise we're outgrowing, essentially.
And it seems a lot of the bottlenecks we have is trying to get skilled workers here. With your conversations with members, what do you find the hardest employees to attract to the region or fill jobs?
Chefs and hospitality is a big one. So I've spoken to the TAFE numerous times. Their numbers in those particular areas are significantly down. And so that's a real concern when we've got a high, number of cafes, restaurants, all competing for the same people. That's always a bottleneck in terms of the hospitality region. Construction, as I said,
I see people, they have to get a painter in from Caloundra and an electrician from Gympie.
So a lot of your builders now are seeking out, as you said, painters from other areas or contractors from other areas. So I think they're two big areas. I haven't personally heard from the health sector, and that'd be great to see from David Lee and those how their numbers are going. But I know in other areas we could definitely use with more skilled workers.
And do you think it's a housing affordability issue as well? We don't have that advantage that we used to be relatively affordable housing.
I mean, we're still relatively affordable compared to other areas. But it's certainly, we hear it all the time, how hard it is for people to get into their first home now.
Or just a rental.
The rental market is crazy. I saw a few houses the other day that were up for rental inspection just around the corner from my place, and there was 13, 14 couples lined up for the door. So
that's scary.
There's definitely a competition for those key properties, but it makes it hard for those people to save up for their deposit, especially when interest rates are...
And for people to move here. I moved here in early 2004. I accepted the job in mid-2003 at uni, and there was a mini boom. When I accepted the job, I thought I could rent on the Esplanade. When I got here, I couldn't. But now when people, they're looking at what they can do, it would be very hard to be straight out of uni and think about moving here.
Especially
if you've got family in Brisbane that you can stay with.
And that's the thing, I guess, and talking with the university and stuff about, uni accommodation or those sort of shared housing options, that could be a real benefit for this area. Because as you say, there's renting, say a 3-bedroom home starts at $600 a week at the moment, unfortunately. And that's a big income for a single person looking to relocate.
It's really concerning. So, that's a bottleneck in terms of growth of businesses. What sort of government and council policies do you think are holding back business expansion?
I think probably just the general red tape around. There's always been red tape around opening businesses, which will never be totally avoidable, but certainly there's been talks of different, business advocacy groups that you can sort of call up and get advice from rather than going through the full.
So have like a concierge where somebody can get you through. Navigate.
And it has been spoken about a couple of times. That so the information can be sourced a lot quicker. And getting that sort of key information so you can move forward. I think that for businesses would be very, very helpful.
And what's it like to own a business? I mean, I've sort of been in government for a while, but you know, my family's own businesses. I can see it can be lonely. It can be you can sleepless nights. It must be stressful sometimes when you've got payroll coming up. Yeah,
I mean, speaking for businesses, it's definitely stressful. That's for sure. As you say, there's many changes coming up around payroll and super and the rising costs, which all affects those sleepless nights. And I guess business is one of those things that it's always difficult. It's, as you said, it can be lonely, but it's having those support groups around you that can, and I guess also by having those support groups, you also realise that you're not on your own. Everyone's facing the same problems. We talk to other hospitality owners ourselves, and because you can quite easily think, oh, my business is suffering because I'm not getting as many numbers, but then you speak to the business down the road and they're also the same, and vice versa. So I think it's important for businesses to reach out to each other. And we are a community that all works together. And
do you think as a community we celebrate the business's success and even perseverance enough?
Yeah, I think so. I think we have the Business and Tourism Awards. I mean, it could be something that if you've been in business for a number of years, you could receive something that could be something to show off to other people as well. But I think in terms of business success, I think the council does a great job in terms of getting around to new businesses and welcoming them to the area. I think that's important because, as you say, it's already hard enough to open the business, but at least if you feel like you've been supported, it makes it a lot easier. So,
and if we really focus on having a healthy business culture that celebrates success, that supports, what would that look like in a few years for a regional town like Hervey Bay?
I think you would have a wider range of businesses opening. So there would be, if businesses feel welcomed here and they have the right support, then we could see, other hospitality venues opening, amusement activities as well. I know it's a big thing we're working on as well at the moment is the nighttime economy as well. So I think if we make it easier for businesses and we celebrate their success, and I think we'll see a lot more investors coming into this area.
And what kind of opportunities do you think we do have for attracting the nightlife, more activities for young people, stuff like that?
So I think it's something we desperately need.
I mean, when I moved here, there were nightclubs here. There aren't any nightclubs here, really.
So while I see that has its limitations as well with having nightclubs, etc. You're right. It feels like we've almost taken that step backwards.
And in other ways too, go-kart tracks.
I think we're getting back to where we were, but I feel like, as we were saying, businesses weren't feeling that support. But with business support, there'll be more opportunities for those guys to come back into town. But I think it's, we opened Salty Axe, which has been great for nightlife and activities to do. But we need more of it on the Fraser Coast.
Absolutely,
we need activities that people can do after work, social activities, things for corporate, for parties, events, those sort of things. And not just sort of be a pub or a club. Actually have something for
more
people.
Diversity. And throughout your time, what do you want to achieve as the president?
I want to achieve a more connected business for the Fraser Coast. I think that we don't talk enough in business. I feel like people do it on their own sometimes, and I really feel that we can put our resources together to not only make it easier but make people feel connected. Our sole focus is to really bring this business community together and help them thrive. I don't like to see businesses being left out or sectors being left out. So that's something we want to do about building our basis as well, is include all sectors in, not just some sectors, but include everyone in.
And in your career, have you benefited from being networked like that and conversations with other businesses?
I think just having to be able to make those connections, to have those contacts is real key, because being in business, being an accountant, you don't know everything. So having those connections, having those people you can ring up and just ask a question, like business to business, whether that be whether you need a solicitor or whether you need a plumber or just those sort of. We actually started a new segment at Chamber, and it was called Rapid Fire. And it was basically like a random ticket draw from the room, and you got 20 seconds to introduce yourself, like a who, what, when, where. And it was basically designed to, as was a quick intro that could be anyone, could be construction, could be someone from a job agency, and it was purely there for if I was at work and I say needed a plumber, instead of trying to look up plumbers Hervey Bay, you might go, "Oh, ring that person because I saw them at Chamber." So it was really about putting people into front of your mind, and making that business connection.
That is fantastic. And I mean, so much of our identity is formed by what we do. To be at the Chamber and say, I'm a plumber, I'm an accountant, I'm a lawyer. That's really good, the way you network that. It's a really important institution for our community.
And it's building businesses together, which is a key success to the Chamber.
I think so. The Chamber has been really important for Hervey Bay now for generations, and we're lucky to have you as president, Jayden.
Thank you.
Wish you the best, for the rest of your term.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.